The second batch of Epstein documents have been released, with a third expected today. And a bunch of A-list celebrities are named in these files. None of these people have been accused of any wrongdoing, but some of the notable names include Naomi Campbell, Leonardo DiCaprio, Cate Blanchett, Cameron Diaz, Kevin Spacey, George Lucas, Michael Jackson, and David Copperfield. Fox News contributor and columnist for The Messenger, Joe Concha, joins me now. And again, Joe, these are just names in various deposition documents, by and large. Are we to draw any conclusions from that simple fact?
That would be highly irresponsible and speculative at this point. When you see the names here, people like Bruce Willis, but there hasn't been a lot of controversy around him in terms of his career, the way he's conducted himself personally. Leonardo DiCaprio, Cate Blanchett. You're looking at some of the names here, and I'm sorry, it makes for some media fodder, particularly on social media, but no, these people have not been accused of any wrongdoing in any way, shape, or form. You don't want to be on any list when it comes to a connection back to Jeffrey Epstein, Todd. But when it comes to Epstein, it seems like there's 100 questions for every answer, right? I mean, how did this person become so rich, so well-connected, the private planes, the huge mansions, all the ex-presidents, vice presidents, A-list celebrities who decide to socialize with them? Why did they do it with this particular guy? And when it comes to this list, it is dominating the news cycle. But again, to your point, and it deserves repeating, they have not been accused of any wrongdoing when it comes to the sex trafficking, pedophilia that this evil Jeffrey Epstein had engaged in for many years. So again, getting back to questions, why is this being released now? Why did it take so many years for it to be released? And ABC News, again, I keep going back to that viral video with Amy Robach when she was with the network at the time, where she is openly lamenting, almost completely incredulous as to why the network killed the story they had at the time in 2016. And the only conclusion you could come to was that there was a Clinton who was a Democratic nominee at the time, and Hillary Clinton, and they were trying to protect the Clintons because they did not want this to cloud that campaign.
Yeah, and to your point, Joe, a lot of these names that are in there, it's like, did you have any contact with Celebrity X? The answer was no. That was the end of it. And so the name aspect of it, you really gave a good explanation as to why we do need to be cautious. That said, one name that kept on popping over and over and over again is one Bill Clinton. Question for you, Joe. What is the future of Clinton Incorporated after this? From Bill to Hillary to Chelsea, the list goes on and on.
Well, there's that one quote by Epstein where he said something along the lines of that Bill Clinton liked his girls young. But again, I'm going to give the president due process here and a presumption of innocence, because is Epstein talking about young girls like 20-something Monica Lewinsky was at the time, where Bill Clinton was nearly 50 when he was president? We all know what happened in the Oval Office and that affair. Or was Epstein talking about those who are much younger, and therefore that's something that's an illegal act? So we don't know what we don't know, but Mr. Clinton, again, deserves the presumption of innocence and therefore due process here.
Well, the Democratic Party doesn't usually ever afford anybody that level of due process or presumption of innocence. So in the next 11 months, do you expect to see Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and the like on the campaign trail for Joe Biden or whoever the nominee is?
I think we'll see Hillary Clinton to a certain extent. Bill Clinton we don't see much of at all lately. But I think Joe Biden's handlers, Democrats in general, probably do not want to see him out there because he is not the brand that he once was. Remember, when he left the Oval Office, he had an approval rating of something around 70%, and he was used prominently when it came to the reelection of Barack Obama, for example, and obviously his wife when she was running in 2016. I can't see it happening again because the Clinton brand, to your point, fairly or unfairly, is something that isn't a net positive for any campaign at this point. And we're even talking about Hillary Clinton as well, who, again, is an election denier and accused Donald Trump of being illegitimate, but does not seem to get as much criticism for that than when a Republican does it with a Democratic president.
Yeah, and this week's release is certainly not helping that. Before we let you go, I want to get your thoughts on this. This was great. Elon Musk zinging Mark Cuban in DEI debate on X. Musk starting the debate, posting discrimination on the basis of race, which DEI does, is literally the definition of racism. Cuban responded saying, if if you don't think there's a need for DEI and it doesn't create a competitive advantage for your company, just look at the X post replies quotes below. Musk firing back saying, cool. So when should we expect to see short, white, or Asian women on the Mavs? Doesn't that last zinger underscore the hypocrisy and absolute stupidity of DEI?
You go with zinger. I go with posterizing, a slam dunk in the face of Mark Cuban here by Elon Musk. It's a very entertaining account on Twitter, and he obviously owns X now at this point. But I like the other quote from Musk here, where he said, quote, DEI is discrimination on the basis of race, which DEI does is literally the definition of racism, unquote. Amen once again. That's a three-pointer from half court by Elon Musk, because that is what DEI does when you're basing everything on the color of somebody's skin rather than merit. And it's a whole bowl of wrong, quite frankly. And it's being rejected now, thankfully. I'm
just excited to see my 76-year-old mom suit up on the Mavs. I think she's going to really help their bench. Joe Concha, have a great weekend. Enjoy the snow. We will see you on Monday. We'll see all of you on Monday. Fox and Friends starts right now.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.